Imagine finding out your entire life was built on a lie. What if the person you called brother for years, the one who shared your childhood, your secrets, and your memories, wasn't actually related to you at all? This is my story. The day my entire world shifted forever. I grew up believing my family was ordinary, loud, loving, a little chaotic but solid. My brother and I were just two kids figuring out the world together. We shared a room, fought over space, and built forts out of blankets that never stayed up for more than 5 minutes. He was older by 3 years, and I looked up to him for everything. How to ride a bike, how to talk to girls, how to get out of trouble when mom was mad. He wasn't just my brother. He was my anchor. When we fought, it was over stupid things. Who'd get the last slice of pizza or who got to use the computer first. But even in our worst moments, there was love. He'd tease me endlessly, but still show up when I needed him. I remember when I failed my first math test. I was devastated, sitting on the porch with tears in my eyes. He sat beside me quietly for a few minutes, then handed me a crumpled chocolate bar from his pocket. "You're not dumb," he said. "You're just human, try again." That's the kind of brother he was, equal parts annoying and irreplaceable. Our parents were caring but private, especially about the past. I remember once asking Mom if I could see baby pictures of us together. She smiled, hesitated for a moment, then handed me an album that started from when I was around 2 years old. There weren't many photos of us as babies. I thought it was normal. Cameras weren't as common then, right? But sometimes I'd catch whispers between relatives at family gatherings. Things like, he doesn't really look like them, or, "You can see it, can't you?" I was too young to understand what they meant, and my parents always changed the subject before I could ask. Years passed and life went on. My brother went to college first, I followed later. We stayed close even when we were apart. We'd text, call, send each other dumb memes. There was never a reason to question who we were. Then one night, everything changed. It started so casually it's almost funny now. My cousin Mark was over for dinner. He started talking about how he'd taken one of those DNA ancestry tests online and found out he had distant relatives in another country. My brother laughed and said we should do it too, just to see what we've got. Maybe we're part royalty or something. Everyone laughed, including my parents. There was nothing suspicious, nothing strange, just curiosity. A few weeks later, the results came in. I remember sitting in my room, phone in hand, excited to see something cool. My results loaded fine, a mix of regions, nothing out of the ordinary. Then my brother called. His voice was shaky. "Hey, can you check if it shows you on your list? As a sibling?" I opened the Relatives tab. His name wasn't there, not even under distant matches. "That's weird," I said, laughing nervously. Maybe the system glitched, but then I noticed something. My parents didn't show up under his matches either. Not my mom, not my dad. It made no sense. I remember the air leaving my lungs, my hands trembling. "Try refreshing," I said. He did. Same result. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept refreshing the page, hoping it would change. It didn't. By morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to my parents with my laptop open. My brother followed behind me, pale and silent. "Is this some kind of mistake?" I asked, my voice breaking. My parents exchanged a look I'll never forget, a look of fear, guilt, and resignation. My mom's eyes filled with tears before she even spoke. "You weren't supposed to find out this way," she whispered. I felt my stomach twist. "Find out what?" My dad took a deep breath. "He's not your biological brother," he said. "We adopted him before you were born." Time stopped. I couldn't process the words. My brother's face went blank. Not anger, not sadness, just emptiness. He whispered, "What?" And my mom started sobbing. They explained everything. Years ago, before I was born, they couldn't have children. After years of trying, they decided to adopt. When my brother was barely a year old, they brought him home. 2 years later, my mom found out she was pregnant with me, something she'd thought was impossible. They said they'd planned to tell us, but then time passed and they were afraid it would change how we saw each other. They didn't want him to feel different, but in trying to protect us, they'd built our lives on a lie. My brother didn't say a word. He just stood up and walked out of the room. I tried to call him, but he ignored me. That night, he didn't come home. Neither did I. We both needed space to breathe. For days, I felt like I was living in someone else's body. Everything I thought, I knew, our childhood, our bond, our family, suddenly felt like a story written by someone else. I wasn't angry at him. I was angry at my parents. Angry that they took away our right to the truth. Angry that they didn't trust the love between us enough to believe we'd still choose each other as brothers, no matter what. When we finally talked, it was awkward. We met at the park where we used to play as kids. He looked tired, older somehow. So, I guess we're not really brothers, he said quietly. I shook my head. No, we are. Maybe not by blood, but by everything else that matters. He smiled weakly, but I could see the pain in his eyes. I just don't know who I am anymore. And honestly, I didn't have an answer. I couldn't fix it. All I could do was stand there with him, silent, two people bound by love and confusion, trying to figure out what family really meant. Weeks passed. He started digging into his past, searching for records of his birth. My parents helped. It was the least they could do. I remember sitting at the kitchen table with Mom as she cried, saying, "We never wanted to hurt you. We just wanted to keep you both safe." Eventually, my brother found a name, a woman who had given birth around the same time he was born, at a nearby hospital. My parents confirmed it. It was her. He reached out. They talked for a while before deciding to meet. He asked me to come with him. I didn't hesitate. The drive there was silent. I think we were both scared of what we'd find. When we finally arrived, the door opened before we could knock twice. A woman stood there, tears already streaming down her face. The moment she saw him, she broke down completely. "You look just like your father," she whispered. My brother froze, and then she pulled him into her arms. I'd never seen him cry like that before. I stepped back, letting them have that moment. It was raw, painful, beautiful, everything all at once. Watching it, I realized something I hadn't before. Family isn't a fixed thing. It grows, it shifts, it changes shape. It's not just who you're born to, it's who you choose to love, who you fight for, who you forgive. After that day, things slowly began to heal. My brother stayed in touch with his biological family, and surprisingly, they welcomed him with open arms. My parents were supportive, even though I could tell it hurt them. They'd kept a secret, to protect him, and now they had to watch him find a part of himself they'd tried to hide. As for me, it took time, a lot of time. There were nights I lay awake thinking about how fragile everything is, how one truth can rewrite your entire story. But eventually, I found peace in knowing that love doesn't vanish just because the truth changes. If anything, it deepens. My brother and I are closer now than we've ever been. We don't talk about DNA or biology anymore. We just live. We laugh, we argue, we show up for each other, the same way we always did. And that's all that matters. When people ask me if we're brothers, I don't even hesitate. Yes, I say, he's my brother. Because after everything we've been through, I finally understand. Blood might make you related, but love makes you family. If you've ever uncovered a painful family secret like this, remember, truth doesn't destroy love, it reveals it. Share this story with someone who needs to be reminded that family isn't defined by DNA, but by the hearts that stay connected, no matter what.